Hey everyone, so we're going to read some more Stalin. This is 1905. The Proletarian Class and the Proletarian Party, concerning paragraph 1 of the party rules. This is 1905. Let's go ahead. Let's see if there's any context for this. Any notes? 1. We do not mention other parties in Russia because there is no need to deal with them in examining the questions under discussion. Okay, sorry. Let's see. Maybe I have to read this for context of the context. So, all right. So this is the Proletarian Class and the Proletarian Party. The time when people boldly proclaimed Russia one and indivisible has gone. Today, even a child knows that there is no such thing as Russia one and indivisible. That Russia long ago split up into two opposite classes, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. Today, it is no secret to anyone that the struggle between these two classes has become the axis around which our contemporary life revolves. Nevertheless, until recently, it was difficult to notice all this. The reason being that hitherto we saw only individual groups in the area of the struggle, for it was only individual groups in individual towns and parts of the country that waged the struggle, while the proletariat and the bourgeoisie as classes were not easily discernible. But now towns and districts have united. Various groups of the proletariat have joined hands. Joint strikes and demonstrations have broken out. And before us has unfolded the magnificent picture of the struggle between the two Russias, bourgeois Russia and proletarian Russia. Two big armies have entered the arena, the army of the proletarians and the army of the bourgeoisie. And the struggle between these two armies embraces the whole of our social life. Since an army cannot operate without leaders, and since every army has a vanguard which marches at its head and light up its path, it is obvious that with these armies there had to appear corresponding groups of leaders, corresponding parties as they are usually called. Thus the picture presents the following scene. On one side there is the bourgeois army, headed by the Liberal Party. On the other there is the proletarian army, headed by the Social Democratic Party. Each army in its class struggle is led by its own party. We have mentioned all this in order to compare the proletarian party with the proletarian class, and thus briefly to bring out the general features of the party. The foregoing makes it sufficiently clear that the proletarian party, being a fighting group of leaders, must, firstly, be considerably smaller than the proletarian class with respect to membership. Secondly, it must be superior to the proletarian class with respect to its understanding and its experience. And thirdly, it must be a united organization. In our opinion, what has been said needs no proof, for it is self-evident that so long as the capitalist system exists with its inevitability, attendant poverty, and backwardness of the masses, the proletariat as a whole cannot rise to the desired level of class consciousness. And consequently, there must be a group of class-conscious leaders to enlighten the proletarian army in the spirit of socialism, to unite and lead in its struggle. It is also clear that a party which has set out to lead the fighting proletariat must not be a chance conglomeration of individuals, but a united centralized organization, so that its activities can be directed according to a single plan. Such, in brief, are the general features of our party. Bearing all this in mind, let us pass to the main question. Whom can we call a party member? Paragraph 1 of the party rules, which is the subject of the present article, deals with precisely this question. And so let us examine this question. Whom then can we call a member of the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party, i.e., what are the duties of a party member? Our party is a social democratic party. This means that it has its own program, the immediate and the ultimate aims of the movement, its own tactics, methods of struggle, and its own organizational principle, form of association. Unity of programmatic, tactical, and organizational views is the basis on which our party is built. Only the unity of these views can unite the party members in one centralized party. If one unity of views collapse, the party collapses. Consequently, only one who fully accepts the party's program, tactics, and organizational principle can be called a party member. Only one who has adequately studied and has fully accepted our party's pragmatic, tactical, and organizational views can be in the ranks of our party, and thereby in the ranks of the leaders of the Proletarian Army. But is it enough for a party member merely to accept the party's program, tactics, and organizational views? Can a person like that be regarded as a true leader of the Proletarian Army? Of course not. In the first place, everybody knows that there are plenty of windbags in the world who would readily accept the party's program, tactics, and organizational views, but who are incapable of being anything else than windbags. It would be a desecration of the party's holy of holies to call a windbag like that a party member, i.e. a leader of the Proletarian Army. Moreover, our party is not a school of philosophy or a religious sect. It is not our party a fighting party. Since it is not self-evident that our party will not be satisfied with a platonic acceptance of its program, tactics, and organizational views, that it will undoubtedly demand that its members should apply the views they have accepted. Hence, whoever wants to be a member of our party cannot rest content with merely accepting our party's programmatic, tactical, and organizational views, but must set about applying these views and putting them into effect. But what does applying the party's views mean for a party member? When can he apply these views? Only when he is fighting, when he is marching with the whole party at the head of the Proletarian Army, can the struggle be waged by solitary, scattered individuals. Certainly not. On the contrary, people first unite, first they organize, and only then do they go into battle. If that is not done, all struggle is fruitless. Clearly then, the party members, too, will be able to fight and consequently apply the party's views only if they unite in a compact organization. It is also clear that the more compact the organization in which the party members unite, the better will they be able to fight, and consequently, the more fully will they apply the party's program, tactics, and organizational views. It is not for nothing that our party is called an organization of leaders and not a conglomeration of individuals. And if our party is an organization of leaders, it is obvious that only those can be regarded as members of this party, of this organization, who work in this organization, and therefore deem it their duty to merge their wishes with the wishes of the party and to act in unison with the party. Hence, to be a party member, one must apply the party's program, tactics, and organizational views. To apply the party's views, one must fight for them. And to fight for these views, one must work in a party organization, work in unison with the party. Clearly, to be a party member, one must belong to one of the party organization. Only when we join one of the party organizations and thus merge our personal interests with the party's interests can we become party members, and consequently, real leaders of the Proletarian Army. For our party is not a conglomeration of individuals, windbags, but an organization of leaders, which through a central committee is worthily leading the Proletarian Army forward, then all has been said above is self-evident. The following must also be noted. Up till now, our party has resembled a hospitable patriarchal family, ready to take in all who sympathize. But now that our party has become a centralized organization, it has thrown off its patriarchal aspect and has become in all respect like a fortress, the gates of which are open only to those who are worthy. And that is of great importance to us. At a time when the autocracy is trying to corrupt the class consciousness of the proletariat with trade unionism, nationalism, clericalism, and the like, and when on the other hand the liberal intelligentsia is persistently striving to kill the political independence of the proletariat and to oppose its tutelage upon it. At such a time, we must be extremely vigilant and never forget that our party is a fortress, the gates of which are open only to those who have been tested. We have ascertained two essential conditions of party membership: acceptance of the program and work in a party organization. If to these we add a third condition, namely that a party member must render the party financial support, then we shall have all the conditions that give one right to the title of party member. Hence, a member of the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party is one who accepts the program of this party, renders the party financial support, and works in one of the party organizations. This is how paragraph 1 of the party rules drafted by Comrade Lenin, I'm very sorry for that yawn, was formulated. The formula, as you see, springs entirely from the view that our party is a centralized organization and not a conglomeration of individuals. Therein lies the supreme merit of this formula, but it appears that some comrades reject Lenin's formula on the grounds that it is narrow and inconvenient, and propose their own formula, which it must be supposed is neither narrow nor inconvenient. We are referring to Martov's formula, which we shall now analyze. Martov's formula is a member of the RSDLP is one who accepts its program, supports the party financially, and renders it regular personal assistance under the direction of one of its organizations. This is horrible. Sorry, I keep yawning. It is late right now. As you see, this formula omits the third essential condition of party membership, namely the duty of party members to work in one of the party organizations. It appears that Martov regards this definite and essential condition as superfluous. In his formula, he has substituted it for the nebulous and dubious personal assistance under the direction of one of the party organizations. It appears then that one can be a member of the party without belonging to any party organization. A fine party, to be sure, and without feeling obliged to submit to the party's will. Fine party discipline, to be sure. Well, and how can the party regularly direct persons who do not belong to any party organization and consequently do not feel absolutely obliged to submit to party discipline? That is the question that shatters Martov's formula, paragraph 1 of the party rules, and is answered in masterly fashion in Lenin's formula, inasmuch as the latter definitely stipulates that a third and indispensable condition of party membership is that one must work in a party organization. All we have to do is to throw out of Martov's formula the nebulous and meaningless personal assistance under the direction of the one-party organizations. With this condition eliminated, there remain only two conditions in Martov's formula: acceptance of the program and financial support, which by themselves are utterly worthless, since every windbag can accept the party program and support the party financially, but that does not in the least entitle him to party membership. A convenient formula, we must say. We say that real party members cannot possibly rest content. I'm being attacked by uns. With merely accepting the party program, but must also strive to apply the program they have accepted. Martov answers, "You are too strict, for it is not so very necessary for a party member to apply the program he has accepted. Once he is willing to render the party financial support, and so forth, it looks as though Martov is sorry for certain windbag social democrats and does not want to close the party's doors to them." We say further that inasmuch as the application of the program entails fighting, that it is impossible to fight without unity. It is the duty of every prospective party member to join one of the party organizations, merge his wishes with those of the party, and in unison with the party, lead the fighting proletarian army, i.e., he must organize in the well-formed detachments of a centralized party. To this, Martov answers, it is not so very necessary for party members to organize in well-formed detachments, to unite in organizations. Fighting single-handed is good enough. What, then, is our party, we ask? A chance conglomeration of individuals or a united organization of leaders? And if it is an organization of leaders, can we regard as a member one who does not belong to it, and consequently does not consider it his bounden duty to submit to its discipline? Martov answers that the party is not an organization, or rather that the party is an unorganized organization. Fine centralism, to be sure. Evidently, in Martov's opinion, our party is not a centralized organization, but a conglomeration of local organizations and individual social democrats who have accepted our party program, etc. But if our party is not a centralized organization, it will not be a fortress, the gates of which can be opened only for those who have been tested. And indeed, to Martov, as is evident from his formula, the party is not a fortress but a banquet, which every sympathizer can freely attend. A little knowledge, an equal amount of sympathy, a little financial support, and there you are. You have full right to count as a party member. Don't listen, cries Martov to cheer up the frightened party members. Don't listen to those people who maintain that a party member must belong to one of the party organizations and thus subordinate his wishes to the wishes of the party. In the first place, it is hard for a man to accept these conditions. It is no joke to subordinate one's wishes to those of the party. And secondly, as I have already pointed out in my explanation, the opinion of those people is mistaken. And so, gentlemen, you are welcome to the banquet. It looks as though Martov is sorry for certain professors and high school students who are loth to subordinate their wishes to the wishes of the party. And so he is forcing a breach in our party fortress through which these estimable gentlemen may smuggle into our party. He is opening the door to opportunism. This at a time when thousands of enemies are assailing the class consciousness of the proletariat. But that is not all. The point is that Martov's dubious formula makes it possible for opportunism to arise in our party from another side. Martov's formula, as we know, refers only to the acceptance of the program, about tactics and organization it contains. Not a word. And yet unity of organizational and tactical views is no less essential for party unity than unity of programmatic views. We may be told that nothing is said about this even in Comrade Lenin's formula. True, but there is no need to say anything about it in Comrade. Lenin's formula. It is not self-evident that one who works in a party, it is in Comrade Lenin's formula. There's strange spacing there. It is not self-evident that one who works in a party organization and consequently fights in unison with the party and submits to a party discipline cannot pursue tactics and organizational principles other than the party's tactics and the party's organizational principles. But what would you say of a party member who has accepted the party program but does not belong to any party organization? What guarantee is there that such a member's tactics and organizational views will be those of the party and not some other? That is what Martov's formula fails to explain. As a result of Martov's formula, we would have a queer party whose members subscribe to the same program, and that is questionable, but differ in their tactical and organizational views. What ideal variety? In what way will our party differ from a banquet? There is just one question we should like to ask. What are we to do with the ideological and practical centralism that was handed down to us by the Second Party Congress, which is radically contradicted by Martov's formula? Throw it overboard? If it comes to making a choice, it will undoubtedly be more correct to throw Martov's formula overboard. Such is the absurd formula Martov presents to us in opposition to Comrade Lenin's formula. We are in the opinion that the decision of the Second Party Congress, which adopted Martov's formula, was the result of thoughtless, and we hope that the Third Party Congress will not fail to rectify the blunder of the Second Congress and adopt Comrade Lenin's formula. We shall briefly recapitulate. The proletarian army entered the arena of the struggle. Since every army must have a vanguard, this army also had to have such a vanguard. Hence the appearance of a group of proletarian leaders, the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party, as the vanguard of a definite army. This party must firstly be armed with its own program, tactics, and organizational principle. And secondly, it must be a united organization. And secondly, it must be a united organization. To the question, who can be called a member of the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party, this party can have only one answer. One who accepts the party program, supports the party financially, and works in one of the party organizations. It is this obvious truth that Comrade Lenin has expressed in his splendid formula. Okay. So yeah, there we have the proletarian class and the proletarian party. It was his response to somebody named Martov who wanted to change what the requirements were to be inside of the party. I really do apologize for all the yawning and the coughing. It's kind of late at night here when I'm recording this, or it's early in the morning actually. So, yeah, follow me on Facebook, Marks Assaw, Twitter, Marks Assaw, YouTube, Marks Assaw, TikTok, Marks Assaw. Got new shows coming out. Hit me up. Let me know if you want to get involved. Dodala Gohai Ale Wado.